And just like that, the No BS Golf Show is back, baby. We're talking about the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Your boy Brad Thomas here with Chris Mills. And I don't even want to delay because someone has a little bit of bragging to do. Tell him, my friend. Tell the world what happened.
Yeah, bragging. I mean, it's a little bittersweet because, as you know, we both manage communities of bettors, and in golf, it moves quick. The odds drop quickly. But Saturday morning, enjoying a coffee, eating my breakfast, and as I do, I got my three screens open. Right, I got Shot Tracker open, I got 365 open, and I'm just looking for any advantage that I can on the guys early in the morning. So Highsmith, obviously he's off early. The guy makes the cut on the number. Didn't
Yes.
touch him early in the day. I mean, there's no chance. He's 8 or 9 back at that point. But then he makes the turn at -8 and then makes a long one for eagle on 10. And this is Saturday. This isn't yesterday or Sunday. This is Saturday morning. Makes eagle, goes to -10, and he's sitting there at 200 to 1. And you know, because I messaged you.
Yeah.
And I was like, look out for this guy, right? You don't know what's going to happen. The wind could
Yep.
pick up in the afternoon. I'm saying get to, even if he finished at 10, gets through the bear trap and everything, 10 under, 11 under. He ended up getting to 12. And then, chaos sat in on Saturday. And he goes into Sunday at 4 back. And at no point did he look like he was going to win until he won. And yeah, I cashed an absolute monster. But sadly, when he made that eagle, he went from 200 to 1 down to 60 to 1. He dropped
Yep.
like a rock. So I couldn't even get that out to my Discord in time. So I just stayed there quiet, figured he'd choke, figured there was no chance. But yeah, bittersweet, but I'm pretty happy. Yeah, come
Dude,
Tuesday.
I'll say this. I was going through all kinds of emotions. I have not been so high on a golfer like I was on Russell Henley in a very long time. When he got to 17 under, I was like, this dude has it in the bag. Really bad course management kind of really pissed me off. But what's so funny is like I'm going through all these emotions, and we were talking about this off air. When you bet on golf, like you're emotionally invested in these guys for 4 days. I
Yep.
was so emotionally spent. That's back to back where I had someone who had the lead on Sunday, late in Sunday, and I didn't get the job done. Then you send me this massive ticket, and I'm like, go to hell, bro. I'm like, no way, right? It's so funny. I'm just like, yeah, I was giving you a hard time. I was like, don't send it to me. Send me $1,000, blah, 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 just poking you around. And I go to, we're sports bettors. We run communities. The show goes on. I had to
Yep.
go and start handicapping NBA because I had to give out the whatever the boost that we had. I go look at my account and I was like, where the hell did all this money come from? On Saturday, I had baby duty. I was watching golf while trying to watch this menace of a child. I don't even remember the names that you were texting me. Like, I don't remember I don't even remember placing the bet, but I have to thank you for the Highsmith there because it was a nice little cash. I took the money out. I'm going to take it to the casino when I hit the cruise. So
That was fun.
good, bad, and ugly. That was the I guess I call it the ugly because I was
Yeah.
upset, and then the good at the same time. So
Yeah.
congratulations on that hit, my friend.
Thanks, brother. Yeah. Sometimes those surprise wins are the best ones.
Oh yeah,
To
it's
like when
funny too. Like
you do like a Euro bet and they start early in the night, you put it in, you wake up, and all of a sudden the matchups hit. That's like the dream.
yeah, it was. And then like I was also like really upset too. Like I didn't realize that all of my placement bets cashed. Like all of them. And I told my Discord, I was like, yo, I'm sorry, guys. Like that's 2 weeks in a row we couldn't get the winner home. And they're all like, dude, you just cashed like all of the tickets. You also cashed Jake Knapp, first round leader. What the hell are you talking about? I'm greedy, dude. When I got something in my sights, like when the Florida swing comes around, I want to win every tournament. I want to make big cash. It's like I literally boots on the grounds at these tournaments. I know these courses like the back of my hands. What's the bad for you since you cashed that massive ticket? I know there's gonna be some kind of bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling with the matchups. Honestly, we started off the season pretty good. Win percentage was there, but it's just I think that I'm better off in these fields, in the lower fields, right? When you know the players a little bit better, the guys with track records, with history, and you can kind of lean more to one way. It's just amazing how even when I'm breaking them down, the guy that I like the best in like a 4 play, that's the guy that ends up losing, right?
Yeah.
And it's again, you even try and switch it up and go straight chalk goes
Yep.
down. You try and go, okay, well, let's find the value and go with a dog, and then the dog goes down. So my confidence level in terms of matchups right now, all time low.
Dude, listen, I can't even remember. I only did, I didn't do a lotto every day this week, but the only matchup I did was Brian Harmon versus Patrick Rogers, and Brian Harmon's freaking cruising and blows it. And I was like, oh no. But I will say this, as someone who was at the course for the practice rounds, I didn't realize it was going to even play that easy.
Yeah.
So, we do a lot of stuff in this industry for content, and dropping the ball in the rough is one of the best pizza contents you can have when the ball disappears. They made the rough so small, close to the collar, where you couldn't even do that. You had to go a little bit away. But then when I started to notice it, I was like, wow, a lot of holes are like this, where Billy Horschel said it best. Missing the fairway, normally you're like, oh, I don't want to miss the fairway. Here's like,
Yeah.
you're just a little annoyed. You're not,
Yeah.
that was kind of, so I think I mismanaged that pretty bad. My bad, what would I say my bad would be? I don't know. I didn't really have a bad, probably that was it. Just I really bet on this course to play a little bit different. I still walked away making good money, still really happy about it. So I can't say too many negative things about this.
Yeah, I mean, just on that point, you look at holes like number 11, right? In
Yep.
terms of the rough, like if you miss the rough there, you're laying up short to the fairway and then trying to get up and down for par, right?
Yep.
Same thing with 16. If you're in that bunker or you're in the rough, you're typically not going for it. But that was not the case. I was surprised watching the golf, watching the shot tracker early round two, round three. I was
Yep.
thinking, there's no way these guys are getting up and down from there. And next thing you know, they got 7 feet for birdie, which would have never happened in previous years.
Ever. Or, I was really surprised about 10. 10 played way tougher than I, would have thought
Yeah.
for them just making it a short par 5. Like, dudes are out there making 5s, and I think it's just a mentality thing. And we'll kind of notice this when we bounce around from signature events to non-signature events, where the caliber of players is just different, right? Like, you have the Celindas, you have the Pavones in these fields. Well, Matthew Pavone's in the signature event, but you kind of get where I'm going at. Like, those guys who would be like the 200s and 300s to ones in these signature events, that they're like 50 or 60 to ones in the non-sig events.
Yeah.
You're just not as talented, or they're not as wise when it comes to course management. Like, you see guys like Scottie, Scheffler, fairways, greens, take advantage when you take advantage. You're 100 in, you got to put that to within 10 feet, give yourself a chance. If you're 160, 175 out, middle of the green, don't attack the pin with trouble on the right if the pin's on the right. Those are just kinds of things that I think guys like Scotty are really good at, and that's the reason why he's world number one.
I also think that the bigger the player, the better the caddy, right?
Yes.
And I
Yes.
messaged you what Saturday night going into the final round, and I said,
Yep.
which one of these guys has the best caddy? And funny enough, you have an absolute legend of a caddy whose son's on the bag for Highsmith, and
Yep.
the kid finished that round like an absolute champion. Like he had been there time after time, like just knowing his numbers, hitting the
Yep.
shots, and I think it has a lot to say about the caddy.
Yeah, it does. And it's funny. I was really rooting for Ben Griffin when my
Oh, me
outrights weren't
too.
there.
Yeah,
And then I was like, then you sent me that, and I was like, okay, good. You still got paid. You still got the green slip. At the end of the day, it's about making money. It's about making money
yeah,
for our friends, our family, and it's about just having a good time. And that, I think, that had to have been a really good Sunday for you.
yeah. Well said. I would have preferred Griffin because had him for a good amount as well,
Yep.
and the whole community had him. And
Yes.
at one point, he was down to plus 240 after he made birdie on 11. So that was kind of the bad. I would have preferred that, but yeah. Hey, I'm not complaining.
Cool. Let's get into the Arnold Palmer Invitational. I'm just going to do a quick rundown. Listen, this is API, Bay Hill. They played this tournament here forever. Not much has changed. One change that I'll mention, but let me just go through the yardage and the course stats for everyone. Yardage 7,466 yards, par 72. Greens, Bermuda. Greens are the second largest greens on tour at 7,500 average size. 84 bunkers, a ton of bunkers. 8 water hazards, but 9 holes have water hazards in play. Dick Wilson, architect with the Arnold Palmer renovation in 2009. The biggest thing that we have to talk about, we don't know how important it's going to be right away, is the change. No more beach on 17. 17, they have now covered that with a grass. They're calling it a grass bunker. Jason Day went as far as to say the shot's more intimidating. I haven't got a chance to step out there yet. I'm imagining they're going to make it more of a runoff. So if you hit that grass bunker, it's running up, or they're just going to let that rough grow. And I mean, imagine you short side yourself in a grass bunker with 3-inch, 4-inch rough. Like you're not getting up and down from there. Any notes or any kind of golfer like profile you're looking for at this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, on 17 specifically, if you remember from years past, there's a grandstand on the far left side. So if that front bunker has runoff and guys are going to try and stay away from that, I see guys hitting it into that grandstand, getting their free draw. Honestly, that is a full bailout. So
Oh yeah, it is. That's
I'll be curious to see how they play it. Again, no pro, and especially at this level, is going to be looking to bail out.
yeah.
But maybe come Sunday, I wouldn't be surprised to see that.
Yeah, this is course like it's penal rough and with the water hazards and bunkers. Like Arnold Palmer is one of those guys that had the mentality you get rewarded for hitting good shots.
Yeah.
So this is like a shot maker's course. You want long guys off the tee who can hit fairways, but I mean, ultimately, like if you're taking a guy at Rory who's like 54% fairway guy, but he's crazy club head speed, super long, versus a guy like a let's just call Brian Harmon, right? Not that long. You're going to want to go Rory every single time. Let's bring in Stephie Smalls. Looks like she's ready to rock and roll with the homies. Let's bring her in and say hello. You can follow her at Stephie Smalls. That's 3 L's in the Smalls. Stephie Smalls on X. What is up? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? What's up?
Listen, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'm glad you're able to join the show. We knocked out your show last night. Now you're jumping on ours. So
Yes,
I appreciate you for coming on.
of course. I'm excited. This is always a really fun event.
Yeah, it's funny too because like I've been going to this event for like ever it feels like, and
Mhm.
every now like in my more adult years and now that I do content full time, this is normally the event that I'll take a break. So every other year I'll skip this event because it's right before March Madness where I'm grinding away. So I'll be gone for most of this event. I'm gonna go Thursday to actually hang out and enjoy, and then I'm going on vacation. So hopefully while I'm away and my service sucks, my guys are all at the top of the leaderboard and I don't have to sweat on Sunday.
Yeah, you can place your bets and kind of think about it when you get back.
Absolutely. Well, what we like to do, we like to just ask you some questions. There's no right or wrong answer, but you're a rock star, so I know you're gonna go ahead and bang these out. Let's first question I want to ask, how did you get into sports betting and content creation?
Yeah, I have like probably the most non-traditional pathway ever. I was a med student and my campus got shut down because of COVID. I went home, had to move back in with my parents, which at 26 years old was as exciting as you can
Yeah.
imagine. So I re-downloaded Twitter and I kind of, just started tweeting about the Giants really is what it ended up being. And then at that, one thing led to another. And then I was taking a semester off and I did not go back to med school. So that's the short, long answer.
Love
Well,
it.
I'm glad that you're in this community. Glad that we can be homies.
Yes.
So what I want to know is when it comes to golf, I mean, I have my
Mhm.
approach,
Yeah.
which is almost try to diversify the portfolio as much as possible. Like I'm going to pick the guys that I like pre-tournament, but I'm going to keep a close eye. Live betting is obviously crucial to success when it
Oh,
comes to
Yeah.
winning in golf. You pick a few guys every day and then hope comes Sunday that, you got 3 or 4 guys battling it out. And then it's just a matter of not if you're going to win, but how much you're going to win. So
Yeah.
I'm curious when it comes to golf betting for you, what's your approach? What's your strategy? Do you just bet and then wait at the end and hope they're there on Sunday? Like how do you go about it?
Yeah, golf is probably it's been the most recent sport that I kind of added to like something I'm creating content about and being more vocal about. And I feel like every year that I do it, I have gotten more involved in live betting. Like I had Campbell a couple weeks ago, but I think you can find advantages there with the live betting. I'm still working out what that system looks like. But sometimes I look on Twitter and you see people's cards and they're like a CVS receipt. And
yeah.
it's just, I can't bring myself to do that. I'd rather have the luxury to take my bankroll and, maybe add a couple guys as the rounds go on. Or I like betting matchups and doing the 3 balls a lot. Like I'd rather spread some money that way and have some live action because sometimes there's going to be tournaments, no matter people could say whatever they want. There's going to be days like Fridays where you have no one left. Like that, there
Yep.
is no one else left for you. So if you can get in on some live betting, it keeps you, involved the entire weekend.
Yeah, I love that. And we've talked about that previously in
Yeah.
previous weeks where you get to Saturday and you're like, you know what? I'm done. Like,
You're
like
like, this sucks.
Yeah,
Like
that's like the
this is
freaking
not.
worst thing ever.
yeah, it's the
Yeah, you're
worst
like,
thing
this is
ever.
awful.
Yeah. I mean, Mexico Open, I didn't have pots. I didn't have anybody. All my
Yeah.
guys didn't show up. And I thought, okay, I'm taking a weekend off. It didn't make
Yeah.
any sense based on where the guys were. There was no value. So I was
Right.
just like, hey, weekend off, that's fine. You take your loss, save it
Exactly.
for next week. And
Yeah,
maybe you hit a couple matchups just to kind of get you through the day and
for
kind of give
sure.
you all that, instant gratification at least.
Absolutely, 100%.
You know, you said something, it really struck a chord with me. The guys on social, guys and gals, who have the CVS receipt of golf outrights, and, don't come at me, golf Twitter, with your pitchforks, but they always justify it like, I'm still 7X, I'm still 8X, bro. I just of the mind, like, I was doing that for a little bit where I'd be like, "It doesn't matter, I'm 7X or 8X." You know how hard it is
Mhm,
to hit it outright? You know how hard it is to hit a guy who's 250 to 1? Do you
mhm.
really just wanna win 7 units when you hit a 250 to 1 banger, or do you wanna collect, like, 25, 50 units? So I
Mhm.
just kinda ditched that approach because, like, if I really like a guy, I don't care if his number is 25 to 1 or 150 to 1. I am going to bet my unit size based on how much value I think they
Yeah,
have, not just bet them so I can make sure my return is 7X. Because you hit one out, let's say you hit one outright in 70 events, but the one outright you hit was a 250 bomb. You
mhm.
should not be breaking even. You should have
Yeah,
money to go do some fun things, to go on vacation, to add it
mhm.
to your bankroll. Not, oh, I just broke even though I had Campbell pre-flop plus
Yeah,
2,800, something like these crazy. I don't know. That struck a chord with me. But that said, I guess this kind of segues a little bit. You talked about your approach. I always think it's interesting. You see people who are not only great people, and I think you're a great person, but also like really good at content. What advice would you give to anybody who's trying to make it in this sports entertainment industry?
yeah, I think there's probably 2 things, and especially being someone that, like, I thought I was gonna be an emergency room doctor. So, like, this was very obviously not the direction we thought I was going. It's not the way my dad thought it was going. I think the first thing is consistency, keeping up with it, having a routine, putting out the content too. I think that's the biggest thing. People
Yeah.
want to get it so perfect. Things will stick when you're doing them after so much time. And then authenticity, like no one, Matthew Berry said this to me when I first started out, and it's like, no one can be a better you than you. So just be yourself. Like people aren't going to like your takes. People are not going to like you. If everyone
Yeah.
likes you, you're doing something wrong, because that's not possible, especially in this space. No one's better at being you than you. Be yourself. The people that are going to like it are going to like it. And the people that don't, okay, don't watch my content. I don't care.
Right. I think that's cool. Being authentic is, you know, that's like a double-edged sword for a lot of people because some people
Mhm.
really suck as people. But
Yeah.
I think
You have to
you
accept that, like, yeah, you're not
Yeah.
liked by
yeah,
people.
and but you see it on social, right? Like people get a following regardless who they are. It's just the
Yeah.
ones who are phony, posting fake slips, making videos that they're not authentic, they get called out eventually.
Oh, yeah, always.
I'll ask one more question. Well, I'm gonna
Mhm.
ask you another question at the end, but I always like to keep it towards the end before we get into the actual tournament. Listen, we all know, all of social media knows you're team dumpy. I need your top 3 dumping rankings on the PGA Tour.
Ah, that's a good one. I mean, Hovland's just there. Like
Yeah,
he's
I knew
got to be
Hovland would be
number
number
one.
1.
Like
Yeah.
he is dumpy is perfect. He is like he started. I feel like the team dumpiness for me. Um, who else? I feel like he's like the top of it that I can't
He's
even.
like the top where everyone else is just
I'm
like,
so
he's
distracted
1,
by
and then everyone else
Hovland's
is like
dumpy
50.
that I don't even know who else. Scheffler lost a little bit of weight, I think, after like the whatever was going on when he had the surgery with the
Yeah.
raviolis, but he was up there a little bit before too. And then probably I don't know. I kind of like I kind of like a thick boy, like Aldrich's butt and his
Oh,
tree trunk thighs. Like I'm kind like
Pop rocks
I
it
kind of
too.
like
He's
it.
like
Like I'm a
barely
tree
18
trunk.
years old too.
Yeah,
He rocks it. He
yeah,
Pops
exactly.
rocks it. You got it, you rock it. He's got that bang back there, the bookshelf.
Yeah, like, we love a good, like, beefy husky boy, like
Yeah.
What's the tournament that they have like the 360 swing view
I don't
when
know.
they're on the tee, so they see it from all the angles?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
wait for that tournament. Hopefully he's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I will love that.
But take
Yeah.
notes, like, just do the rankings list. I know you're a notes
I
person. Put
need to
that in
start doing yeah,
yeah.
I can't believe I don't have them yet. I'll have to pay special attention, now. Spieth does like to wear himself some tighter pants, which
Yes,
that's
he
always a
does.
treat when he does that, but
Let's get into the tournament. We're gonna go to the outright market first. I only have a couple outright, so I'll start first, and I'm going chalk. I'm the chalk donkey this week. I'm going Rory McIlroy.
Mhm.
Is there a golfer in this field who has more strokes gained over the last 5 to 10 trips at this event than Rory McIlroy? No. Scottie Scheffler close second with the 2 wins in 3 years. Rory McIlroy, before he won at Pebble Beach, the question was, Roy, what can Rory do when he has the short iron in his hand? Like that was the struggles he had over the last couple of years. Yeah, the putting had creeped its ugly head. But that like kind of faded away. If you notice, the putting got a little bit better and better as last season kind of wrapped. It was just the wedge in his hand. He'd lose strokes around the green. He'd lose stroke on approach. Was not good. Well, clean that up, and I think you started to notice that around November at the DP World Tour Championship. I think that's what they call it there. He just started gaining strokes, like tee to green numbers, insane. 10,
Mhm.
9, 7, 7. He even gained 7 strokes tee to green at Genesis. Unfortunately, the putter let him down, but all those putting woes were like pretty much baked into 2 rounds where he just kind of forgot how to putt. Now he's back here on Bermuda. He is a Golf Channel ambassador, which is really important. Arnold Palmer, the founder of Golf Channel, the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Dude loves opens and invitational. And this is not me just hyping up my pick, but Rory's one of those guys where the more it means, the harder he tries. And opens, national opens, invitationals, they just mean more to him than a lot of other people. Like, not saying that he wants to win more or less, but the emotional side of it, I think that's a big, big benefit. Also, just like, if you're thinking about a profile that we highlighted earlier, dude could hit it long,
Mhm.
someone who's a shot maker and a guy who just has really good course history. That's Rory McIlroy. At 8.5 to 1 is where I took him. I did play a cheeky parlay, which is, I'll probably post that on social for everyone to get him up to 15 or 16 to 1. But I'm already set, already locked in on him at 8 to 1. My cards would be really thin.
Yeah, I love Rory. I think we talked about it a little bit. I mean, I love Rory this week. Let's be very clear. I'm not the biggest Rory fan, but I think it's hard to deny him this week. I know we talked a little bit about that top 10 that I like at -115. I think that's a really nice number for people that maybe don't want to get
Yeah.
fully in on Rory, but you still want some action. Probably a nice piece to add to some parlays. I feel like I'm always on the wrong side of Rory, and it just never goes my way. But I was so close to pulling the trigger out there.
It's tough, right? Like, you know, you have to ask yourself when you're going to take a Rory or a Scottie, anyone under 10 to 1, like, how much room do you have to bet on other golfers?
Yeah.
Also, how much do you love this guy where you're going to invest? Because I'm probably going to invest a few units in him, right? Like, I
Mhm.
want to get like 20 units back for this. Is he the guy who can go out there and win? I really believe that. Sure. Yes. No. Right. But also, you have to ask yourself, is there a trend of that I need to be aware of? Like, is this a course where long shots win all the time, or do signature events just kind of feel like they're favoring those bigger names, which they have? And I thought I was comfortable with that, and I actually didn't love too many long shots. So I'm gonna kick
Mhm.
it over to you, Chris, and if you want to give me one of your favorites, a long shot, I don't care, just anyone who you like to win this week.
Yeah, I don't disagree with Rory at all. And I'm skipping ahead, but since we're talking about him anyways, I'm going to be all over him first round.
Yeah.
Um, he's I think you're right, plus 850 to win right now. I think I've seen it as low as plus 750. If we look at Pebble Beach, he started slow, right?
Yep.
He made that long birdie on was it round 1 or round 2 that kind of said, okay, he's got some life. You could have got him then at plus 1800, right? So like Rory could potentially fall back, but I don't think so. Like his track record here is amazing. He's been first round leader 2020, 2021, and 2022. Sorry, he was second in 2020. So typically he does come out of the gates. So like he's
Yep.
not one that I would probably wait on. I don't see him going above plus 850 unless he starts really poorly. But I love him at plus 1800 round 1.
Love it.
So just because we're talking about Rory, I wanted to
No,
throw
I
that.
like that.
Yeah.
But for me, my first one, I'm going to stay away from the favorites. I'm never going to touch Scottie at plus 325. If he wins,
Mhm.
good for you,
Yeah.
right? I'm just never going to do that pre-tournament. I just never will. And he's proven me wrong before and just won't do it. Never going to go that low. But give me Sepp Straka at plus 6,500 this week.
Okay.
I don't think he's getting the respect he deserves. He reminds
Mhm.
me very much of a Mark Leishman. I think they'd look the same in
Mhm.
that red cardigan. Like, he's a bigger guy, a little heavier set. But if you look at him this year, he has a 15th, 11th, a 7th, a 5th, and a win. And he's plus 6,500 in a field of what, 70 guys? I mean,
The
that's pretty juicy to me.
You know this, the Sepp Straka top 35 is the cheat code. I've bet him top 35 or top 30 at every event this year. Even last week didn't even like I didn't even monitor it because it just feels like it's free money at this point. I
Yeah.
think it was a little sweaty at first and then has like a great third round or great second round. I was like, okay, yeah, we're back to normal. Do you get a minus? I think it's minus 135. So they're on to us a little bit for top
Yeah.
30. They know it'll be eventually he'll be minus 150 and then you can't play it anymore.
Yeah.
Well, you got so typically what we do is we go one of our favorites in the favorite range, we go mid-range long shot, but if you only have all long shots or only mid-ranges, we'll do about 2 or 3 of them.
Okay. Do you want one of mine? Is that
Yes, please.
I'm up? Okay. We talked to him yesterday, so you're not gonna like this, and I'm always on the wrong side. But I did it with the each way, so I am going back to the decky well. Each year 28-1. One of 4 players who ranked top 30 in driving distance and long iron proximity. You know, I think you just look at his game. This is what you're asking for. He's always going to be one of the best iron players. And you know, looking at currently number 1 on tour, strokes gained approach green fairway, top 20 in 3 of the last 4 years at this event. Like, this could totally be the week where, you know, if he finishes T 36, like, I'm like not going to end up being shocked. But like him getting like in the top 6 and then getting the each way 5, I feel a little bit more comfortable in that. But I think he can win.
You know, Hideki's interesting. And I feel like this doesn't get talked about enough when we go to Florida. Hideki plays a ton of golf in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to go see what his numbers were for strokes gained on Bermuda. Because me as a Florida resident, I've been to golf courses where this only happened twice. No, happened once. And the second time I heard about it, where he's rented out an entire 18 where he did at Orange County National just so him and his friends could play uninterrupted. I think I was playing on Crooked Cat and he like rented out Panther. He's done it at Bella Colina. Like, he's a guy who plays a ton of Florida golf out here. So I just wanted to know, and I didn't even look this up until just now. Strokes gained total of the last 36 rounds on Bermuda grass. Number 1, Scottie, obviously. Number 2, Hideki Matsuyama. Wow.
Yeah.
What a snipe there.
Decky is a friend, actually. I love Decky. He's won for us twice. We hit him huge last year in the Genesis. We hit him already this year once. And I was in Orlando last year at the API and met his whole team. Because don't forget, his team's traveled with him, right? His coach, his marketing, everyone. Hideki lives in Orlando. He has a house in Orlando.
I think he lives near Bella Colina.
He's sleeping in his own bed every night. We had him last year for first round leader coming off because, again, we had to pay him back for hooking us up. But I love him. I think that he's got really good value and he plays well when it's warm. Right? So he seems to be healthy this year. I haven't seen anything about back issues or anything like that. So I think that's a really good pick.
It feels like this is the most Hideki's played in like this tournament stretch in a while.
I know, and doesn't that scare you? I'm like, please don't withdraw. Please don't withdraw. Please.
It's what's going to be funny about this tournament, and whoever has the Thursday morning, we'll talk more about this. Whoever has the Thursday morning round, I feel like it's gonna get a massive advantage because it's gonna be the screen's gonna be real receptive and soft. But I like Hideki because whenever he gets that advantage, if he gets that AM wave where he goes out there and can go post a number and chill, always scary. I only have one more outright, so I'll let you guys double up after I'm done with this. But I'm going with Harris English. We talked about this on the Stephie Smalls show, and listen, I even called him Russell Henley. I couldn't get to Russell Henley just because I didn't want to have like 3 guys and then 2 of them be less than 50-1. But Harris English won the Farmers Insurance Open. Wasn't great off the tee, but not bad, right? And the reason I say not great is because when you go and play a course like Torrey Pines, there's guys who can overpower it. Like, just if you can overpower a course, the guy who's not overpowering it's not going to be a big gainer off the tee. But he hits fairways, hits greens, and he's a hardcore specialist. So I've been monitoring the weather a little bit. Thursday, Saturday, we should have some wind issues, right? Who do you want to play in the wind? Who's going to hit fairways? Who's good at hard courses? Harris English. He's like 120, 130 to 1. Like, I'm not even making a massive investment in him, but I think he has a good chance to win.
His first round leader number on FanDuel is 100 to 1.
Holy crap.
If he's in the morning wave, I would. That's really nice.
That's a nice. I mean, it's already. I see it as short as 66 to 1 some places.
Yeah, that's a really nice. That's a really nice price.
So I'm gonna throw out another mid range for me, and
Okay.
I would suggest you roll him to win, but I also like him first round, and that's Mr. Corey Connors at plus 7,000.
Premium ball striker.
Let's talk about Corey a little bit. So 2 years ago, co-lead at the round one. He has probably the best irons in the game. Really solid off the tees, hitting about 68% of his fairways. Not the longest player, but again, he can get it out there. But with him, it always comes down to putting, right? We know that he struggles on the greens. The greens are bigger here. But if he can fill it up, I really like him at that number. And let's look at this year and just look at his course history. He finished strong at the Genesis, shot 67 and top 20. I think he was 24th. But in here at this event, 11th, 21st, 18th in the last 3 years.
Yep.
Right. So if you don't, like you said, Smalls, if you don't want to go on him outright, I like him for a top 20, and I think you can get him in the plus 200 range. I think it's really good value there.
Corey Connors. There's 3 different places where I like to play Corey Connors. 4. I like the Florida Swing, and I like the Masters. Those are all ball striker, premium ball striker courses. That's like the Corey Connors.
And Valero Open, apparently.
Oh, and Valero. Yeah.
The only tournament he wins.
Yeah, the only tournament he wins. He's because those are all you need to be a shot maker. Shot makers courses.
I like.
You have another one for us, Smalls?
Yeah. This was more the number here. I know we talked about this a little bit on my show, but Sahith 110 to 1 just feels a little bit like crazy to me. Just if you want to look at like course history, last 2 years, 6th and 14th. I think he's best suited for like these long, challenging type courses that reward, the driving distance and scrambling. Yeah. So, I mean, you look at where he ranks, he's top 25 in scrambling, strokes in putting on fast Bermuda greens. So I think 110 to 1 is value for him here. Again, he'll probably sneak his way into like some parlays where I'm putting him at like a top 20, top 10 to have a little fun and play around. But I still think like, I do believe like any of these, like I said, like these challenging courses, I really think Sahith can win any of them. I feel strongly about that. I think he struggles sometimes to obviously put it all together, like many guys do. But yeah, 110 to 1. I like it.
I think that he's at that number. Sorry, Brad. I think he's at that number just because he hasn't had the form, right? Yeah. Like I think this is you're hoping that this is his week to kind of catch those eyes. And he is one of the most emotional guys. Like, I don't know if you watch, with on the Netflix show, but like he cares so much. Like for him to win this tournament would mean like everything to him. It's game changing for his career as well. And if he can keep the ball in play, if he can hit some fairways, because that's where he struggles is off the tee. His iron game is great. He's a pretty strong putter. But he's one of those guys in that range. And just a quick extra nugget, a guy who's at that same number is Cameron Young.
Yep.
And another guy who's been as low as, almost 3rd or 4th lowest in your odds week for the last 2 years, but he can never get it done. But he fits the mold here too. And that's a huge number for him.
Yeah, Theegala is like the guy whose odds are sliding, where when it corrects, you're gonna want to be early than late, right? Like you want to be early on Theegala when he's at the 100 to 1 because he's gonna pop somewhere, and then his odds are gonna be 35, 25, and then you're gonna be chasing that victory that he could have been building up to. I mean, he didn't play bad at Genesis, right? Like he had some trouble was that round 2. But and outside of that, like it wasn't terrible.
Right.
Let's move over to props. Let's talk about props. Because I think I'm gonna give out. Let's go. I'll give out Harris English. I did that one already. Great course history. We talked about him. Let's see if there's another one that I didn't talk about. I'm gonna do Justin Thomas. Top 20. I actually didn't even really prepare to talk about Justin Thomas, but I just thought this price was really weird. This is including ties. 70-man field, including ties, minus 120. So what you're saying, like he's gonna be gotta be top 20 like 60% of the time. I mean, just look at his last two starts, T6, T9. That T9 was basically out of the tournament, well, out of the contention for top 20 and rolled his way, it played his way back in. It looks like everything's starting to align back again for him, right? Like when Justin Thomas is on his game, it's not with his putter. We all know that. We need a flat Justin Thomas. We need a Justin Thomas that goes out there and he is 0.00 with the flat stick because his approach numbers are ridiculous. 5, 8, 7, 6. That's the Justin Thomas you need. I think this is a great spot for him. Another guy who loves playing in Florida, another shot maker. Top 20 minus 120. I would have priced it minus 150, minus 160. I went with top 20. I thought with the ties included, you got a little bit of value there.
Yeah, I like that. Honestly, if Justin Thomas switches to a mallet like Scottie did,
Yeah.
he'll start winning. Like he needs to get away from the blade. He misses too many. He's pushing, he's pulling, he's got no confidence. He just needs something. He needs a lesson with Brad Faxon. He needs to do something because he's just too talented. Like he's too good of a player.
Yeah. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch him.
And his odds reflect a guy who's winning win equity 2-3 times a year.
Insane. Like, and I fell victim to it at 25, and I was like, oh my God. But he's probably a 35 to 1 guy, at least at his game right now. At least what his mental capacity is, not capacity, but his mental state of his game. But he's getting closer. We'll see what happens. Give me a prop that you like, Chris.
I'm gonna go with top South African, and I'm going with Potts. It's him versus Bez. There's only 2 of them, him and Bezuidenhout, and you can get him at plus 110. Well, you 1v1. I had Bezuidenhout in a matchup parlay last week at the Cognizant, and he was terrible. He was awful. Like I obviously follow the shots. He couldn't get up and down, couldn't hit a fairway. You're gonna have to hit fairways here, and I like the kid. I think the kid's coming in playing stress free. 1v1 at plus money, I take that all day long.
I like that quite a bit.
Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna be on him outright. So like, if he's gonna win the tournament, he's gonna be top South African as well. Bezuidenhout's going through some weird things with his game right now. I don't know. I probably can't like be pro Bezuidenhout. Like he's the guy who needs to hit fairways and greens because he's got to rely on his putter, but hasn't been great at doing either of those. So if you don't give yourself a chance at birdies, doesn't matter how many fairways and greens you're hitting. I mean, it doesn't matter how good you're putting, you're gonna have to hit the fairways and greens. Smalls, what's a prop that you like?
There's probably 2 that I'm looking at. Another guy, I actually bet him as my longer shot. So Dunlap, his top 30 is plus 225. I think it's a really nice number for him here. I mean, top 30 again, we know the size of the field. Florida resident, he last played at Genesis, kind of one of his like better performances, and I like the fit here too. 0 missed cuts and 2 top 20s and 6 starts. 10th at Sony, 17th at Torrey Pines. Driver has been interesting story for him a little bit. But he's 10th on tour and approach from that 175 to 200 yards, 48th last year. But I think that's pretty good for he can sneak his way into that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the dude won at was it the Amex? No, yeah, it was Amex. Lost strokes off the tee, and then went out and won Barracuda, gained strokes off the tee. He's the kind of guy who he just needs that pop. I think I said that yesterday. He needs that spike round, get his confidence going with the driver. You took him top 30.
Yeah, plus 225, and then the top 20 it's like plus 400. But I mean, I'll just take the top 30 at that point, to be honest.
I will add this too. Nick Dunlap's a really good reminder for anybody who loves like staring at strokes gain data or is trying to get into it. Like some of this is misleading, right? Like if a guy is losing 6 strokes off the tee, and I'll recall Pebble Beach, no, it was Phoenix, like dude dunked 2 in the water. That's like gonna drop you no matter how great you are. You can hit the rest. You're gonna lose a ton off the tee when you're dunking 2 in the water off the tee. And so like his numbers are a little misleading because he does have some of those questionable holes. But I mean, if you can limit yourself to one of those a tournament, like you're going to be in contention with the skill set that he has.
I like it.
Can we just for 1 second just acknowledge that there's certain people that may or may have not should have ambassador for the game who maybe should have had a sponsor exemption that didn't get in. Someone who moves the needle like a Jordan Spieth.
Dude,
Nobody wants to
Don't get me started.
Ricky Fowler, right? People are dressed like him.
Ricky Fowler is an ambassador for Arnold Palmer.
Yes.
Ricky Fowler has an Arnold Palmer umbrella on his freaking golf golf water bottle. Ricky Fowler came out with an Arnold Palmer themed line. I know because I have the clothing. Like the dude is an ambassador for the whole cause, the charity and everything. What are you doing? Like,
yeah.
And
For
even
a
when
tour
Spieth
that's
has been bad, he still plays well here is the thing.
Yep.
Like you're not going to get Spieth like coming here and playing his worst golf. Like he plays well here. I was telling you, Brad, on my show, like I started, doing my notes and my research and like I had already put Spieth down to bet outright. Like I was prepared to take him outright. I bet him here last year. And it sucks. This is a tournament I want to see. I want to see Jordan Spieth at. I probably would watch more of it if Jordan was in the field.
Which is crazy because for a tour that's struggling for viewership, right? They're the most recognizable people, the most fun people in entertainment. Why wouldn't you want them there? And where I was going with that, my segue was: did you see the odds for the highest odds in the tournament?
No.
Rafael Campos. Did you see what his odds are?
They're like 500 to 1 or something, 400 to 1.
2,500 to 1.
What? I literally scrolled all the way to the bottom.
I don't care if you bet 10 cents. I have never in my career seen a golfer when there's only 70 players. There's only 70 players.
Oh my God.
2,501. $50 is 125 G's.
That is insane.
He's about to make me act up. And then Campos finished dead for last. And I'm like, well, it was worth the cost of admission.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm already on it. I took that number and it's a donation. But like, could you imagine?
God, I'm trying to look at his stat.
And I don't think, is there a cut this week? Is there a modified cut or is there no cut?
I don't know, man. I can't keep up with the cuts here. But what is his top 30 got to be? Like, I'm going to look this up, right? Because
let's see, I have it right here.
Top 30, top 40.
Top 30 is 10 to 1.
Shut up.
That's what I see. Yeah.
Look, I put $10 on there. I win a unit.
Top 20 is plus 1750, and the second lowest guy is plus 500.
Oh, is there a way we can get to Rafael Campos to make us some money? Right? Like, because he won the Bermuda. Yeah, you're right. Man.
Anyways, just wanted to share that with you guys because I saw it. I thought that's hilarious.
God.
It's really funny.
All right, let's talk about some first round leaders. I'm just gonna go and tell you the favorites: Scottie, Scheffler, Rory, McIlroy, Aberg, and Xander. Oh, maybe the odds will be nice. Scottie 12 to 1, Rory 18 to 1, Ludwig Oberg, who I actually met at this tournament last year. That was when he was dealing with the was a wrist, I think. Plus 28 to 1, Xander 30 to 1. Listen, I feel bad that I didn't give out Jake Knapp on this, but I have never been good at giving out first round leaders without knowing tee times. I don't know what it is about me, and I think it's gonna. We talked about this briefly, but I think it's gonna be a really big advantage. So on Wednesday, it rains really late in the afternoon, right? Thunderstorms, afternoon showers. The greens are going to be a lot more receptive, right? Early in the morning. Florida sun is no joke. It's going to be mostly sunny on Thursday, which means whoever starts those first couple tee times, they're going to have those nice, soft, receptive greens, a little bit of dew on the ground. Then by the time you get to the afternoon, they're going to start to firm up a lot more. So the AM advantage is going to be really frequent. But that's literally anytime you play in Florida. Yeah. If there's anybody who I have to give out as a first round leader, it's because I didn't play him in the outright market. It's none other than my man Russell Henley. 55 to 1.
Yeah.
I just feel like this golf course, so PGA National was supposed to be a great fit for him, but he didn't get that much of an advantage because the rough wasn't penal, right? Now we're gonna have more penal rough here. We need another person who's gonna hit fairways, a good ball striker. A guy who's playing really inspired golf. I wanted to be on. He was going to be a hammer at top 30. I've never seen a guy who is plus. Was he plus? He was plus six. Plus. He was plus 6,000. That is minus 175 in the top 30. Right? Like that was going to be an absolute smasher if we'd have got minus 110. Whatever. First round leader. I'll go ahead and sprinkle that and have a little party.
I like it quite a bit.
Yep. Anybody you like, Chris?
Yeah, I already talked about 2 of them, and I'll just kind of go over it again. Give me Rory plus 1,800. I'm going to take that chalk all day long. And then Corey Connors.
Let me ask you this. Do any of you guys, this number's a little bit lower than I saw it earlier. Does anybody like Shane Lowry first round leader?
I do.
Did it
I
last
have him outright as well.
He was first round leader last year.
He was, yeah.
That's why I think I was like probably.
Yeah, minus 6. So typically, I mean, the range.
Oh yeah, he did it in an afternoon round too, because he went out like. I remember people were like sweating their really bad outrights. I think it was like 67 by Justin Lauer and Hideki, and they're like sweating. I was like, yeah, someone's got to go lower than 67, even though it was playing pretty tough.
Yeah, the first round target typically over the last 5-6 years has been 55-66. Sorry, 65-66.
Okay.
You need a guy that's going to be going, 6-7 under, 5-6 under, depending. And I think, like you said, the majority of the time it has come from the morning wave. But again, last year and then 3 years ago, it did come from the afternoon. But yeah, I like those 2 guys. Give me Rory, give me Corey Connors. I like Corey Connors honestly more first round than I do to win, because he very rarely gets it done. But if he makes some putts on Thursday, I think he can be there.
Well, Smalls, give us a first round leader before we ask the final question and wrap.
So I haven't, full transparency, haven't bet any first round leader yet. Looking at Jason Day, I wanted to do something with him here. Usually when I can't get there anywhere else, I end up betting them first round. So I will probably get there with him. Pavone keeps coming to mind. I will end up on Lowry there and definitely Rory. So I'll probably post my first round leaders once I make those final decisions, but to be determined.
I love it. All right, listen. It's my favorite question to ask. And there's no right or wrong answer, right? So you're going to build your favorite fast food meal. You can stop at a different place for everything: the drink, the side, whether that's fries or whatever, the sandwich, and the dessert. Go ahead and build it. Tell us where you're getting and what you're getting for each item.
Okay, so this is easily for the beverage. It's going to be a McDonald's Dr. Pepper. Nothing better. The crispiest Dr. Pepper you will ever have in your life. I don't know what they do with their Dr. Pepper. Has to be from McDonald's. Got to head to Taco Bell, get a Crunchwrap Supreme. That'll probably replace a sandwich for me, because I'm not really a sandwich girly. Like when it comes to fast food, like just not my thing. Would need spicy nuggets from Wendy's. I guess I could get fries at McDonald's while I'm there. Actually, no. Five Guys fries. That's the good stuff right there.
5 Guys fries.
Yes, that's the good stuff right there. And then Culver's for dessert, a custard.
You get a custard?
Yeah. I think that sounds pretty good.
Wow, that was banging. I think you did really good with that.
I know what I like.
That's awesome.
That's a good one. Well, listen, thanks for joining. Follow her on X at Stephie Smalls. That's 3 L's in the Smalls part. Y'all, this was fun. Everyone watching on YouTube, make sure you like, rate, subscribe, comment your favorite pick or favorite bet for this tournament. If you're listening to a podcast form, rate, download, and rate us, right? Listen, this was fun. I'm gonna go and play some more golf bets because I don't think my card's big enough. For Brad Thomas, Chris Mills, and Steph Smalls, take care.